Okay, it is the moment, at least I have been waiting for. The moment it has all culminated towards. I am finishing the Throne of Glass series in this video. Every single one of these books is over 600 pages. I totaled it. The total page count comes out to like 2,974 or some crazy number like that. I'm gonna try and finish them by the end of the year. That's my goal, to finish all the series that I had already started on my shelf by the end of this year. It originally was finish all the books that I haven't read on my shelf, and it turned into just finish the series that I'm in the middle of. And so after finishing Morning Star and Dust, these four, which are honestly like too heavy to hold up, we have come down to Queen of Shadows, Empire of Storms, Tower of Dawn, and Kingdom of Ash, which are the last four books in the Throne of Glass series. I think I'm gonna try and find a happy medium between full-fledged summaries and no spoilers, because full-fledged summaries are really long videos, and no spoilers feels like I'm not giving you any knowledge of what I think about the books. So I'm gonna try and find a happy medium, but this is gonna take me so long unless I get sucked in. I can tell you right now, this is gonna take me forever. So hopefully I finish it by December 31st. If I don't, I'm not gonna beat myself up about it. So starting with Queen of Shadows, it's a big boy, 645 pages. Selena, I don't even remember. She like has just gone through this like rebirth kind of thing where she like finds out that she's Aelin, the queen of the Fae, I think, or a princess or something. And there's still like these like demons that are ravaging the world. I am kind of in the dark. It's been a while since I finished Air of Fire. I finished Air of Fire in like February or March of 2021, and it's November 2023. So I'm gonna start it, and hopefully I get sucked in, because it was a slog getting through Air of Fire. I loved Throne of Glass, Assassin's Blade, and Crown of Midnight, but Air of Fire was really hard for me to get through, so I'm finally gonna finish the series. I'm putting my mind to it. It's the last series that I was in the middle of, that I have on my shelves, and I'm just gonna put my mind to it, and I'm gonna do it. I can feel it. I'm gonna do it. Although I do start a new job in a week, so we'll see. Okay, I have a fantasy ambient world room thing going in my headphones, and I'm gonna get cuddled up and start Queen of Shadows. So I've been reading Queen of Shadows for the past couple of days, and I'm on page 150, which is exciting because it means I'm making progress, and there's like visual progress too, which is really important to me. But basically I only have 500 pages left. Some recent happenings, some recent like fights have really sucked me in. I was at the library yesterday. I filmed some of me reading there, and they were about to close, so I had to stop reading and come home. I plan to read some more today. I don't know. I am either gonna go to the coffee shop or the library, or just stay here. It is really cold today. I don't know if I will want to be out for longer than a couple hours. last clip was me officially getting to the halfway point of Queen of Shadows, which is a exciting time for me. I am enjoying it. So basically the series isn't told in like perspectives where it's like the name at the top. It is told in third person, but each chapter is like following a different person, but it's not from the point of view of that person, if that makes any sense. I find myself really liking the Manon chapters. She's like a witch who like rides these dragon things that are called wyverns, and she's stuck in this like really horrible place and is recruiting this like young servant girl to like do her bidding, but she's also kind of a bitch, which I kind of like reading from. Like, it's interesting. Whereas Aelin, who used to be Selena, an assassin, and found out that she was the queen of Terrasen, this other country, I think, above Rifthold, which is where they are. I think it's a city. Adarlan? I don't know how to pronounce that, but that's where they are now, and she is with her boyfriend. They call them mates, which I hate. But like her elven mate. Ugh. And her cousin. And they are trying to kill and capture all of the demons who have possessed some of the people, and the prince, who she was kind of friends with, is also possessed. So there's like that end goal of like unpossessing him. So far I'm like, thoughts that stand out to me right now are that I absolutely hate the Fae language. If you're like connected, you're a mate, which I hate. There's like bonds. Obviously it's like good bonds, but it's like, no, I don't like that. When we're in a chapter of a Fae person, they call like women and men females and males, which it's not anything specific. Like, there's no like conscious reason why I hate it. It just makes me a little bit uncomfy, and I just don't like that language. And I just really am more drawn to the Manon chapters where they're like witches, and it's kind of more gritty, and there's more of a goal of getting the fuck out of this place and stopping this horrible breeding scenario that's going on with witches and these demons. So I'm much more into that. There's also like wyverns, which are basically dragons, so that's cool. And it's more like spy-y. And Aelin and her band of men is kind of just like gallivanting around killing demons and doing a lot of political stuff with the people in the city, which I don't really vibe with as much. I like it, but I'm much more drawn to the witchy, gritty stuff. So, small update, I'm reading in bed because I'm tired as hell. I'm on page 452, so I only have like 200 pages left, which is exciting. They killed Aelin's master, and so the only issue we have right now, currently, as of now, is the demons who are around, which I guess is gonna be the issue that's gonna happen for the entire rest of the series. Okay, so Arobin, Aelin's master, who is dead now, told people that Lysandra, Aelin's friend, was a shapeshifter, so they notified the king and the king's second in command, and so they are taking her to the place where Manon is, and they're going to use her in these experiments to impregnate women with the demons' babies, which, so they're currently on a quest, a side quest, if you will, to rescue her. I'm getting sucked in. I'm really enjoying it. They're still calling each other mate though, which I hate. I also forgot to mention that another side quest is that magic is gone from the world and Aelin is trying to restore it, which involves blowing up a tower. So there's a bunch of little small things that they have to do. So I don't know how they're all going to come together, but right now they're rescuing Lysandra. Okay, so I just got back to the coffee shop and I finished Queen of Shadows. I'm just gonna quickly put the dust jacket on. So I finished it and I really loved it. I'm not gonna give it 5 stars just because of all of the language the fairies use, which I just like don't like. It makes me uncomfy. But I finished it. I really loved it. I got like wildly obsessed with it in the last like 200 pages, and I was on I think 470-ish, and I got to 645, which is the last page. So I read a bunch today. I was obviously like the end, so it went really quickly. I'm not even gonna lie, this is a really good book. It's 650 pages, but it didn't feel like there was anything that didn't need to be in it. Like the plot kept moving the entire time. It didn't feel slow ever, which was really nice. So basically where I left off, they saved Lysandra and went back to Rifthold, the city, and came up with a plan to destroy the clock tower, which is what makes magic non-existent, and free, I think, the prince from the demon spell. Manon, they kind of meet up with, and she kind of realizes that she needs to like help them sort of, but like on her own terms, which is really cool. And so they destroy the clock tower, they free, or the prince, I think his name's Dorian, he frees himself sort of, because he also has magic with like Aylin's help. So they free the prince, they kill the king, who, plot twist, was actually only under the demon king's spell. So the king's second in command, who is at the mountain keep with Manon and her dragons and her band of fighters, is actually the demon king that no one thought was freed, but is actually just like free and dormant in this guy. And so the king was under his control. The demon king is actually the person who like killed Aylin's entire family in Terrasen. And then they kill the king. Manon frees Alid, I think her name is, who is I don't know what she is, but she has the blood of Terrasen. So she's a part of that country. She like escaped before like everybody could be killed. And so she is on her way to Terrasen. Manon and this girl who was in a couple of the other books, she is kind of like Shadowfire is her power, and she brings down the entire, or a third of the keep. The Duke, who is the king's second in command, and the demon king, as we know now, is free and I think gonna wreak havoc on everything. Obviously there's like 3 more books. It ended on a really high note though, which is strange. Like Aylin's like almost in Terrasen. She's like, oh, I'm home. I'm done, and I really liked it. Surprisingly, I didn't think I was going to, but like it's a good book. I get it. So next we have Empire of Storms, which is actually longer than Queen of Shadows. I know it doesn't look it, but this is when they started publishing these books with Bible pages, which mean they're just really thin pages. And so this is actually longer than Queen of Shadows. Yeah, I think it's like 40 pages longer. Yeah, it's like almost 690 pages, whereas this one is 645. So I'm gonna start this because I'm just like excited to like see what more happens. And I've heard this one ends on a really depressing cliffhanger note. So I'm ready. So I've officially started Empire of Storms. I've been reading over the course of the last couple days. I kind of took a little break from reading for a couple days between Queen of Shadows and this, but I got into it today and I'm really loving it. I can't really believe it. I started the series like randomly like 2 years ago, just like on a whim, and I didn't think I would be like obsessed with it. I didn't think I'd love it, but I'm like really liking it, which is shocking. There's not too much spiciness, which I have gathered there's a lot of from Sarah J Maas's books, but I'm grateful that there's not, because I'm just not that kind of person. I like plot, and the plot gets really well thought out, and it's really intricate, and it's just like really interesting and cool, and there's a lot of different people with a lot of different personalities. Everyone's kind of separated right now. There's like 4 different groups of people that we're following. I'm just like anxious for them to all reunite. I have so much left to go in this series. Like there's so much. I keep thinking about that. I'm only 200 pages into this like almost 700 page book. I've marked every 50 pages here, and then the middle of the book is on the side. So I'm just like slowly but steadily just making my way, and I'm like really loving it. Last night I got to a really beautiful atmospheric part, and I decided I'm gonna like annotate this, which is so, I didn't think I was gonna want to annotate the Throne of Glass series. There's just some really beautiful moments that I'm like, I want to remember that. So I don't think it's gonna be like a really heavily annotated book, but I think I'm just gonna mark up some of my favorite parts, which I have saved with a piece of a bakery bag. So yeah. So I'm 100 pages out from the end of Empire Storms. I am really enjoying it. So everyone's come back together, they're in the same place, they're kind of preparing for the final battle right now. The end goal for most of the book has been to join all of these word keys, which are keys that will lock this like demon king. It's called like the Valg King, in his prison and like defeat him. So it's kind of been a little bit twisty. It's kind of like a little bit unsettling right now, where it's like they went to the lock to put the keys in to hopefully like lock up this demon, but it didn't work, and now they're in a different land to like learn things, which is very strange for the end of a book. So I am anticipating a lot of twists, and it's probably gonna end on a cliffhanger. So but I'm vibing with it. I'm obviously definitely gonna get sucked in these last 100 pages. I fully think I'm just gonna finish it today. Again, like, I still hate the language. There has been so much spicy stuff since I last updated, which I'm not a fan of. Like, Sarah J Maas has kind of a reputation for being like a very self-indulgent author, and like with a lot of sexy scenes, etc., which I knew, but I thought this was gonna be more YA. Yeah, I'm just like I don't need it. And she's really good at the plot part. Like, her plot and her world building is really incredible, and the like politics of the world that they live in are really interesting. It's just interspersed with kind of unnecessary steamy scenes. Also, Aylin's mate, but her mate, I hate saying that, is such a half-assed character, and I don't know if I missed it, but he was introduced in the fourth one, Heir of Fire, and I just like, he's such like a nothing character, and I don't like it. Yeah, so those are my current thoughts right now. They all have come together. The final battle is about to start. Final battle of this book. Obviously there's 2 more. And they're on the ocean in boats. Who saw that coming? This is what I mean. They're like in this like mirror place that turns into a memory from the past, and Aylin's going like, why are we doing this when the whole world's falling apart? This must be really important information. So I suspect we're about to have some massive revelations. Okay, so it's like 5:30 p.m. I finished Empire of Storms. I really liked it. I'm gonna give it a 4-star, just because all of like the spicy stuff I just didn't need. But the plot was really cool. The end twist is that Aelin has to die to lock the demon king guy in the other realm, which is a very classic trope in fantasy books, so I'm not surprised. And so at the end of this one, she gets like taken away by the Fae Queen, I think, and everyone's like, oh, we gotta like get her back, but she also summoned a big army for them that they're gonna fight with to free the country that they're in from like the big bad demon people. Yeah, I'm still like a little bit confused. I might have to watch like a summary video about this because there's a lot of stuff that I was like, oh yeah, sure, but I didn't actually fully understand. But that being said, I did love the plot, I did love the world building. It's so intricate and so cool, and just like I missed like big massive fantasy books, so I'm excited that I got to read another one, and I have 2 more to go. Speaking of, the next book in the series is Tower of Dawn, which it does not follow the same plot line as the normal Throne of Glass books. It's, I think they call it a parallel novel to Empire of Storms, where everything in the timeline of Empire of Storms is happening in a different place in Tower of Dawn. So this one's going to follow Kale, the captain of the guard who is paralyzed from the waist down, trying to find healing and also to summon an army for the events that have happened in Empire of Storms. I am a little bit nervous about this because it does mean kind of getting acclimated to like lots of new characters, a different storyline that's not in the world that I've been following, and it is like 600 and something pages, so 650 pages. So my goal is to finish this by the end of November, which I think is in like a week. So, yay! I mean, I finished Empire of Storms in like these past 2 days. I think I probably read like half of it. So it's gonna feel like a completely new fantasy book. And I don't know how I feel about it. I'm definitely not gonna start it tonight, but it's next on the docket. I'm starting Tower of Dawn while I'm watching the Eras Tour on mute. It's good vibes. Hello from my living room. Merry Christmas. It's still November. So I've been reading a bunch lately. I'm on page 510 of Tower of Dawn, which means I'm only 150 pages out from the end, which is wild. And so it looks like I'm definitely going to finish it by the end of November, which was my goal, which is exciting. But I don't think I've summarized it at all, but basically it's just taking place in the southern continent, which is Middle Eastern inspired, and like there's lots of deserts, and in the south there are big mountains, and they have these like flying dragon type creatures called rooks who are really cool, and they're like majestic. The idea is that Kale and Nesrin have gone down to recruit the armies to the fight up in the north. It's like not going well, obviously, but they've also discovered a separate plot kind of that is these like spiders who are from the demon realm who are, I think, like killing the rook eggs, and they're like trying to stop it, I think. So that's one plot. The other plot is that Kayla is getting healed by Urine, I think is her name. It's either Urine or Irene, but she was in The Assassin's Blade, which is the second published, but first book in the series that Selena / Aelin helped before she started her journey to become the queen, etc. So she's a healer, and she's helping Kale regain the ability to walk, and I think where I'm at now, he is like 95% there, which is exciting. They've just uncovered they went to like ruins, and they discovered that the Fae came to the southern continent like really far in the past, and left some of their magic there, and that's what the healers are, because they have some kind of like healing magic. So instead of the army of the kingdom, they're gonna try and recruit all the healers to come up north with them. So I love the atmosphere. I am way more into it than I thought I'd be. There's no fairies, which is nice, so they don't use that dumb language, but the romances are still like, oh, whatever. Kale and Urine are in a relationship, I guess, which is like a little bit like because he just likes her because she's helping to heal him, which is a shoddy excuse for a romance. And then Nezrin is kind of like sparking something with one of the princes from this country. And yeah, so it's a 4-star right now. I don't think it'll get lower. I don't think it'll get higher. I just think it's 4 stars, but I'm liking it a lot more than the actual plot that I've been reading, so that's surprising. So yeah, I'm either gonna finish it today or tomorrow. Probably tomorrow, honestly. I've worked tonight. But yeah, before November ends, which is exciting. Okay, so it's like 11:30 at night, and I got cuddled up with my Christmas blanket, and I'm almost finished Tower of Dawn. I'm on page 592 out of 660. I really tried, but it's not happening because I'm exhausted. So I'm just gonna go to sleep and finish it tomorrow, and then I'll tell you my thoughts. And then it's Kingdom of Ash time, which I don't even want to think about. Okay, so I finished Tower of Dawn. I'm gonna give it 4 stars because the romance just like wasn't doing it for me, but oh my god, Sarah J. Maas knows how to write an ending. Like everything just kind of fell into place at the end. Like we're in a really good spot to go on to the next one. Basically, in the southern continent, the Valg, the demon people, have been waiting for their Valg queen, who is actually Queen Maeve, the Fae queen, but nobody knows that she's the Valg queen. So they've just been like waiting and like festering there. Urine was tasked with, at the very, very end, she realizes that one of the Valg princesses was possessing one of the princesses of the southern continent. And so she realizes with all of the other healers that she can kind of purge the Valg from the people who have been possessed by them. So that's the healer's ability, and they've been like blessed by this goddess a really long time ago. And so that's one piece of the puzzle, so that now they have this force of people who can get rid of the demons from inside the people. So she heals the princess from the southern continent, and the king, I don't remember what they're called, the Kagan, is like, hey, like, I'll do anything for you. Like, what do you want? You healed my daughter. And she's like, I want you to save my people. And that just basically means like send your armies to the northern continent and help fight this demon war. And so he does. And so there's this big fleet of ships sailing to the northern continent, and the Ruck are all gonna join them in the sky. And so they have this big army to help fight this demon war that's gonna happen. Yeah, so it just sets it up really, really nicely. There's like a last chapter that's like, yeah, Aylin's still hidden away, like taken. And so nobody knows where she is. They have this plot sort of with like Lysandra pretending to be Aelin because she's a shapeshifter, so that like the people don't like go crazy because, oh no, they don't have a queen. But yeah, so that's where we're at now. There's this big army that's gonna sail up to the northern continent and join the war, and there's also the subplot of we need to find Aelin to actually fight in the war, because obviously we need her and her fire powers. Yeah, I liked this one a lot. There wasn't a lot of fae stuff, like fairy stuff in it, which I just like don't really vibe with, which I liked because that hasn't really happened since like the 3rd book. So the lack of fae stuff was actually really nice, and I really liked that about this book. So next and finally is the daunting Kingdom of Ash. This book is 980, I think? 980 pages, which makes it the second longest book I will have ever read behind Les Miserables. I cannot wrap my head around it yet. I need to take a break. It is the third to last day of November, and I gave myself until the end of November to finish this, so I think I'm just gonna give myself until the end of November to start Kingdom of Ash. Because this is it's so massive. It's almost 1,000 pages. I don't understand it. My brain cannot wrap my head around it. So I'm gonna take a break, but I'm really, really happy that I finished Tower of Dawn because I really, really liked it. And one more to go. I'm terrified, but also really excited. Okay, so I feel like I'm being really dramatic about Kingdom of Ash, but this book has felt like a myth to me for the longest time because I've just like seen so many people reading it and being like, oh my god, Kingdom of Ash. I follow Brittany the Bibliophile. I've been like a viewer of hers for a while now, and she's like obsessed with the Throne of Glass series. So I remember when she got Kingdom of Ash, and it was like the big moment for me, and I'm like, oh my god, like I wonder like when I'm gonna get there, and I'm here, like, oh my god. My brain doesn't want to start it because it's 1,000 pages. But yeah, so the bottom line is this book has felt like an urban legend for my entire life, and now I'm actually reading it. My brain doesn't want to, but my body wants to. Like, I've opened it and I'm like, oh, let's read it, because I think it knows that like the only way out is through, in a good way. Like, the only way to finish it is to read it, even though it's 1,000 pages. But I'm consoling myself because I read Tower of Dawn in 5 days, and that was 660. So theoretically, it'll only take me a week. I can also tell from this prologue, which I think is the excerpt that was released before the book was released, that this book is going to be dramatic. It's going to be dramatic, and it knows that it's going to be dramatic. It's making me cringe right now, but it's Kingdom of Ash. It's the last book in the Throne of Glass series. Like, let's go. Oh, he had been hunting for her since the moment she was taken from him. His mate. Stop! Sorry. He barely remembered his own name. See? Dramatic. For why? Okay, so it's been months since the end of Empire of Storm / Tower of Dawn. I can't imagine what it was like reading this when it first came out, having waited like a really long time between Tower of Dawn and this. It must have felt like the start of a very big like hike, summit, climb, etc. Like, it feels grand. Like, it feels like a moment, which I get. I'm coming into this late to the game, but I get it. Like, I get what people were feeling back in, what, like 2018. Whoa, that's depressing. But I'm at chapter 1! Okay, first, Kingdom of Ash update of the vlog. I'm on page 278, which is way further than I thought it was. I have been reading it on my phone on my Libby app from my library for a couple days, and I didn't realize that I had actually read like almost like 150 pages of like the physical book in my Libby app. So I haven't been like annotating it, but I have things highlighted on my phone that I'm going to transfer into the book itself, but I'm really, really liking it. So I made myself a little cheat sheet because there are so many groups of people that are just like scattered around this world that I'm like, I need to keep all of these plot lines in my brain. So Aelin was with Maeve, she's taken. Rowan and a lead and like some elf people are going to try and find her. They're in the Fae world. It's called Dorno. So Adian, Aelin's cousin, and Lysandra the shapeshifter are in Terrasen in the north, preparing to fight all of these demon armies that are coming for them, and they like don't have a lot of people and they're probably gonna lose. And Lysandra's still pretending to be Aelin, but like she doesn't have fire powers obviously, so that's like sus to everybody else. Manon and Dorian are finding the Crochan witches, who are like a really elusive group of witches that Manon was revealed to be the queen of. So they're trying to find them. Dorian's like being suspicious because he's like, I don't want Aelin to have to die to put all these people back in their cages, so I'm gonna be the one to do it. Chaol and Yrene are on their way to, well, they're in Chaol's hometown, and I think it's called Aniel or like something. But so they're trying to warn them, Chaol's dad, who like is an asshole, to prepare for war because there's an army coming to them too, because Aniel was always like rebellious against the demon king. And so there's still people in the southern continent who are going to come up eventually. I don't know, I'm only a quarter of the way through. But Rowan and Elide in the fairy continent have just found Aelin. She's been like tortured, and it's kind of like horrible torture where it's like they torture her but then they heal her, so like she doesn't have any of her scars left, which like make her a part of who she is, which is sad as hell. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. This is like honestly like the most helpful thing I've ever made in my entire life, because there's just so many groups of people that I just like can't keep it straight in my head. I would definitely forget to mention one of them if I didn't have that. I don't have any yellow like sticky tabs, so this is the color palette for Kingdom of Ash. And then I have my like Stardust bookmark because Sarah J. Maas is like obsessed with the stars. And I'm like 25% of the way through, which I definitely didn't realize. I've just been reading it on my phone on my like way to work and stuff. So, but I'm very much enjoying it. I still hate the Fae language, but what else is new? And I'm hoping to get some like physical reading done today because I miss it. Okay, so it's been a hot minute since I updated. I basically have been just working on a show for the past week, and I have had absolutely no time. So the last time I updated you was Monday. It's now a Sunday, and I've been reading a bit like before bed and on the bus to work, etc. And I'm on page 531, but I'm over halfway, which is really exciting. I only have 450 pages left, which is just like a regular novel, so I'm not too intimidated. And once I get all my time back today and in the next week, I'm really excited to be continuing. And I made this, I just made it more comprehensive, so all of my groups of characters are grouped together. Two groups met up in Aniel, Chaol and all the people from the southern continent, and Aelin and Rowan and all those guys, and they fought the big war. And it was kind of like the like Helm's Deep of Kingdom of Ash, where it's like Helm's Deep is like the middle battle of the entire Lord of the Rings saga. This was the middle battle of this book, and it was really cool. Aelin like stopped a big wall of water with her fire powers, like she evaporated it, which was really cool. I thought it was a bit of a cop-out because it was announced like earlier in the book that like, oh, like if that dam breaks, a lot of people are gonna die in this like plain below this dam. And so obviously that's like a Chekhov's gun. The dam is obviously gonna break, but it breaks and then Aelin saves everybody. So I was expecting a few people to die and nobody did, which is also a little bit scary because there have been so many fake out deaths. So far, there have been 4 of these fake out deaths. Like Elide and Lorcan were in the plane when the dam broke, so they were about to die. Fenris was about to die because he like broke a blood oath with Maeve, but then Aelin saved him. Lysandra was about to die because she got scratched with like a poison tail from a wyvern. So, and none of these people died. So there have been a lot of fake out deaths, which is a little bit freaky because it means that eventually people are actually gonna die and it won't be the people you think, which is scary. Dorian and Manon are getting closer. Dorian is, I think he just left to go to Morath to sacrifice himself, I think, and like find all the word keys. And that's where I'm at. I haven't read any of this physical book since Monday, so it feels like I haven't been reading, but I have on my phone. So I am hopeful that I'll finish it this week. If I do 100 pages a day, that's 4 days-ish. Okay, so I read a little bit more last night on my phone, and I'm on chapter 88, which is page 732. I have been told through YouTube that some intense shit happens on page 850, so that's where I'm gonna try and get to today. It's only like 120 pages, which feels easy. Everything's going suspiciously well. So I'm anticipating some really devastating stuff to happen in the next like 150 pages. I'm taking it slow. I'm pacing myself, but yeah, everything's just like suspiciously going very well. The one thing I still have an issue with is just like the romance and like the sheer amount of like sex scenes that I just like don't, it doesn't move the plot forward, and I find them kind of useless. Like there was a sex scene that kind of like involved a copper bathtub when these people are like in this caravan basically riding to war, and I'm like, it's implied that there's multiple of these copper bathtubs. So what, like, why are they carrying a bunch of copper bathtubs? That's so useless for like, it doesn't make sense in the plot. But it was only so that this girl could like get undressed and so that they could go have sex, not even in the bathtub. It boggled my mind. I literally wrote in my notes app, like, copper bathtub? Like, question mark, question mark, question mark, because I'm like, this is so stupid. And I was reading last night and I was just like, what is happening? Like, I don't want this. For like 50 pages, it was just complete like uselessness for the sake of the romance, which I just is so unnecessary. Other than that, it has really big similarities to Lord of the Rings, like less epic, but they're like battling on this field now, and I'm like, okay, so Minas Tirith, and I mentioned Helm's Deep earlier, so yeah, it's just Lord of the Rings, other than like all of the unnecessary relationship drama. But other than that, I'm enjoying it a lot. So I've been reading all day, and I am officially only 100 pages out from the end. I can't really believe it. They're in the big battle. Everyone has come to Orinth. Aelin and her army from the southern continent, so everyone's there, and they're still like losing. Maeve has allied with Erawan, the Demon King, and they are gonna destroy Orinth, which is the city in Terrasen that Aelin's from. It's sort of foggy in my brain, but the whole idea was that they were going to forge a lock with the 3 word keys that was going to send all the gods back to their realm, and the condition was that they would take Erawan with them, therefore like leaving the realm free of him. Aelin, to save herself, kind of, because she was gonna die to do it, so to save herself, she kept Erawan. Like, she made the decision to keep him in her world and was like, yeah, like, we'll deal with him, and then like sent the gods back to their realm, but then opened up a portal to like the hell realm, so the gods are like in hell. And like her whole idea was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna live like in a world like free of godly oppression or like whatever. Yeah, so that's where we're at. Maeve and Erewhon have just come on to like the final battlefield, and a lot of people have died. And yeah, we're kind of like getting into it. The end is near. I'm probably gonna finish it tonight, whether it's on my phone or in this copy. Yeah, I'm very much just like, this is just Lord of the Rings, but YA. Like, I'm literally imagining Minas Tirith and the Pelennor Fields right now. Like, that's the image you need in your brain to know what exactly is going on right now. So I finished Kingdom of Ash. My thoughts are that it's literally just Lord of the Rings, and it was really good. Like, Yrene, the healer, defeated Erewhon while Aelin defeated Maeve, and like the ancient, the Fae people from Terrasen came down from the mountains, and they all lived happily ever after. And like, it kind of ended where like everyone like parted ways because they're all like rulers of different kingdoms in the world. So that was a little bit bittersweet, but it was just like so wholesome and beautiful, and obviously like, you know, they're all gonna stay friends. Basically like nobody important died, which I was very surprised by, but I'll take it, you know. And it ended with like rebirth and like flowers blooming across like all of the different lands, and it was just like really warm and sweet, and I enjoyed myself immensely. The only reason it's not 5 stars is just this Fae language that I hate. I hate mate. I hate female and male. Like, I hate like the low-key misogyny of all of these like male characters who are with another girl. That is just like, it's a little bit like icky. Like, all the guys are not really good people, but she makes them attractive, so all of the women like fawn over them. So that's a little bit frustrating, but other than that, the story and the plot was like really, really, really good, and it captivated me, and yeah, I just really loved it. And Aelin is such like a cool character. She's so chill, and just, I feel like weirdly relatable, even though she's like a queen with like magic. So that and so with the final book, Kingdom of Ash, I have officially finished the Throne of Glass series. I feel like I have climbed a mountain mentally. This is 3,000 pages. I can't believe I actually did it in like 2 months. Probably less than that, honestly. I can't believe I liked it as much as I did. I genuinely really loved the plot. It was just all of the romance that like was not necessary for me. Yeah, I like, honestly, like, it's probably one of my favorite series. It's not like an all-time fave, but like plot-wise, it's like really solid and decent, and one of the best like epic fantasy series that I probably think exists when you put aside all of the useless romantic stuff. But I did give all of them 4 stars. I shockingly started annotating during Empire of Storms. I enjoyed it because there were a bunch of moments where I was like, yeah, this is funny, or like, this is really cool, or like, there were just like so many moments that like definitely gave me like the chills. So, and I like loved all the characters. They're so cute, and like their little band of, not rebels, but like their little court is just so heartwarming. And all of the guys can kind of like, I don't need you, but like all of the female characters are so good, and I'm so happy that I finished this. One, for the fact that I can say that I finished it, and it's another series finished on my shelves, but also because I really loved it. So I'm glad I filmed the process. I hadn't picked one of these books up since like March of 2021, so I'm happy that I finished it out and I stuck with it because it was so epic and it was a really fun time.